Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? We're back again. It's like our third show in 24 hours. How are you? I hope you enjoyed the morning show last night. Tried to catch up on a few cases that we hadn't, weren't able to get to during the trial week, and just try catch up on some of those little cases that don't get talked about very much. How are you? Hey, Lisa. Does anyone know what happened to Woo Woo Saturday Night? My understanding of it is she does it when there's enough content to do it. So they used to do it all the time, like every Saturday night, and then at one point they moved it to every second Saturday. That was a couple of years ago now. But I think it's more a content thing, and the fact that she doesn't work on a Sunday. So sometimes she likes to have a Saturday, Sunday off on the weekend. I don't blame her. She worked very hard for many number of years, including through the pandemic. So if she now wants to have the weekend off, I am not going to, complain. I think that woman is really close. Actually, don't tell her this, but she's somewhat close to retirement age, and she still works harder than a lot of other YouTubers. So if she wants to take the weekends off from now on, I don't really care, and I'll just do the show instead. You guys can come and hang out here on a Saturday night because I'm always here. I'm a little younger, so I got a bit more energy. I can do this every day. Although she used to do it every day. I remember when she first started. She was crazy. She used to do, what was it? Like, I don't know. She used to do the live show and it used to run for hours, like 5 hours, 5.5, 6 hours when she was up in that cabin, if you all remember that. Yeah, so good times, good times. But yeah, she wants to now take the weekend off, and all the work she does with Othram, the forum, and other things, and trying to produce a live show every night. I mean, I would want the weekend off too. I would want to not do live shows on the weekend as well. So I get it. Could be. I don't know. I don't have any involvement anymore with Web Sleuths at all. We have sort of separated for over a year now. I wish I did because I love those guys, but uh, just just one of those things. They're upgrading. Oh, cool. I'm glad they are. That's been about a year in the making. Just before I left Web Sleuths, they were talking about doing this. They were talking about the upgrades that were going to happen when they joined Othram and things like that. I haven't been able to talk about it because I'm not allowed to. So anything I talked about internally with Trish at the time, I'm not allowed to talk about. So I've known about that for a while. I'm glad to see it's coming into fruition now, and it'll hopefully bring a better experience to everyone on the forum. And that would be great. I don't know. Who knows what will happen in the future? Maybe at some point our paths will cross again, and I'll end up working with them. Uh, you know, uh, on something else in the future. Who knows? Who knows? She had Mike King on the other night. I like Mike King. Kathy Lynch says, "Hey, good to see you. Good to see you too." Yeah, I like Mike King. At least we have you. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Let me say hello to people. Lisa, good to see you, my friend. Marilyn Landis is here. Wendy R. Moonlight View. April B's here. Who else do we have? Marilyn Landis. James Avery. Hey, James. Good to see you. I don't think I've ever asked you, is that James is in a girl's name, James, or James is in a boy's name, James? I always think you're a boy, but I may be misgendering you because some girls are named James too. Um, I actually met a girl that was named James a while ago, and I was like, oh, might be the first one I've ever met. I know, but just one of those things in life. Sometimes we have to go in different paths slightly. But I still help them out from time to time. I just don't work there anymore. That's all it is. I just don't work every day under their banner. But if they ever need anything, they contact me and I do stuff for them, but just not in an official capacity anymore. Marlene says hello. Hey, Marlene. Good to see you. James, oh, an old dude. All right, cool. I'm glad I haven't been misgendering you for like 2 years. I did that to another person. There's a person, a lovely person called Jerry, who comes to this channel all the time, supports a lot of things I do. And for like about 8 months, I thought it was a guy. And then I was like, they're like, no, it's Jerry with an I. That means it's a lady. And I was like, oh, shoot, ping's very bad. Also, note a jeweler. Good to see you all. Who else did we have in here earlier? Danny Mitchell was here earlier, pulling a double today. I often like to pull a double. I hate mornings. Hey, my friend, thank you so much for the links and the articles. I appreciate it. All right. You've only known it as a male name? No, there are girls called James. There are females with that name, I promise. You're also an old dude. That makes things a lot more interesting. Mamma mia, good to see you. All right, let's get into it. Let me set up and let's get into this story because this story is really important. Actually, this came from my friend. I hate mornings. This person right here. They actually sent me this story and they thought it would be right up my alley because these are the type of people I like to represent on this channel. And this story is horrific. I don't think I've ever heard of something so gruesome and depraved, especially for young people. These are quite, or at least some of them are quite young. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the first bit of it here, and then I'm going to show you just a tiny bit of what they said at the press conference, okay? Just a little bit. I know people don't like press conferences, but I want to hear what the police have to say. So they're saying here, 5 people have been arrested in New York and charged in connection with the disappearance and murder of a 24-year-old transgender man from Minnesota whom police say was tortured and abused for weeks before his death. Tortured. They don't use that word lightly, and it's not like it happened in one day. They're saying for weeks on end, this person was tortured before they died. They're saying here New York State Police launched a missing persons investigation for Sam Nordquist on February 9th following a welfare check request from his family. Now, his family have been searching for him for a while, and I found this out while doing some research for the story. Apparently, they started a GoFundMe late last year trying to get to New York to bring Sam home. And this was the original GoFundMe. It has now turned into a different sort of GoFundMe, sort of like raising money for the family. But originally, it was to bring Sam home. And it says here, hi, my name is Kayla. I am Sam's sister. On September 28, 2024, Sam went to New York to meet his online girlfriend. A very important detail. Sam has not been heard from by any of his family or friends since the 1st of January, 2025. So back on New Year's Day. 2025 was the last time his voice was heard. Sam was due back in Minnesota by October 12th, 2024, as he had a round trip plane ticket. Now, they were trying to raise some money to go to New York. They didn't have enough, money to take such a big trip on their own. And they contacted the authorities. They tried to get some help. And unfortunately, now they know their son and brother is now dead. And you hear these details coming out saying that they were tortured. This should be a bigger story. I don't understand why there's such little coverage of this. One of the things I hate about true crime is the minimization of some minority groups. Now, right now, it's a real high tension time. There's a lot of like hate for people going on, especially border things and like that. But it doesn't stop people caring for people who are, affected by violent crime. Like we have to try and, move past those issues that are political and try, help everyone who's a victim. So it really annoys me that no major super big media has picked this story up. When I was researching it, they're all local media out of New York. I think CNN might have done one article. It's really disappointing since this person has been missing since last year. Last year, this GoFundMe got put up, and I never heard about it. And I searched crime stories all day long. all day long. I'm on different forums and groups and this and missing places and looking up different things for you, and I didn't even know about it, and that's, concerning to me. I'm gonna play a tiny bit of this. This is the press conference from yesterday, and they detail a little bit about these people that have been arrested for Sam's death, and sort of not how it occurred, but sort of just some surrounding circumstances. They're not giving a lot of details right now. So I'll take you there. I'm not going to make you watch the questioning where they're like, I can't answer that. I can't answer that. It's an active investigation. I can't tell you that. I'm not going to make you watch that. Okay. It's only like a few minutes long. Good work, Ping. You should probably link it to the channel that actually has it. Hold on.
Crane, and I'm the Public Information Officer for Troop E. We're here today to provide an update on the case involving Sam Nordquist, who was initially reported missing to the New York State Police on February 9th, 2025. Throughout this investigation, our dedicated team of law enforcement officers and forensic experts have worked tirelessly to gather evidence, follow up on leads, and uncover the truth about Sam's disappearance. Unfortunately, we must now confirm that this case has transitioned from a missing person investigation to a homicide investigation. We've determined that Sam was the victim of a criminal act based on evidence collected and information obtained. Our thoughts are with Sam's family and loved ones during this incredibly difficult time. We understand that the community has many questions, and while we are committed to transparency, this remains an active and ongoing investigation. We will not be releasing specific details at this time to protect the integrity of our case. However, we can confirm the arrest of 5 individuals. We want to assure the public that our agency, along with our law enforcement partners, is fully committed to seeking justice for Sam. We urge anyone with information to come forward, no matter how small it may seem to them. If you have any details that can assist in this investigation, please contact the New York State Police at 585-398-4100.
The world's most boring press conference. There you go. It might win the award for 2025 for most non-details given in a press conference. I can tell you a little bit more though. So the photo that you saw on the thumbnail is a photo of the 5 individuals that they have arrested. This is them here. I'm going to read their names out for you. So we're going to start from top left and go to top right, and then again on the bottom top left to, bottom left to bottom right. So up the top is a person named Precious. What an interesting name. And the middle one is called Emily, and the one at the end here on the right is called Jennifer. These two on the bottom, these two guys who look like they should be on that duck hunting show, one is named Kyle Sage, and Patrick A. Goodwin. What these 5 people felt the need to torture an individual that had come from Minnesota all the way to New York. Someone in the chat said it may be a catfishing situation. I don't know that I don't know. Is there any comment that it is? I mean, maybe they did put online girlfriend in quotation marks, so maybe, or it could just be someone being cruel. I mean, that's also catfishing, but you have to be a real piece of shit to do stuff like this. Like, to be a gang of 5 people and be willing to not only kill someone, but torture them for weeks on end. They're not talking about like a day. They're talking like this happened for a long period of time and may have been the cause of their death from the torture. They're saying here that an autopsy still has to be completed and they haven't done that yet. They're saying the Monroe County Medical Examiner's Office will perform an autopsy. I hope I'm unmuted. I am, thank God. Yeah, they're saying that the medical examiner will perform an autopsy to determine how Nordquist died, according to New York State Police. And they're saying here, investigators haven't ruled out classifying the murder as a hate crime, making additional arrests on Friday, or making additional arrests. They said on Friday. They say the facts and circumstances of this crime are beyond depraved. No human should have endured what Sam endured. They say here, in 2023, there were 35 homicides of transgender or gender expansive people. I don't know what that means, but I just care that people were murdered. I don't care what you are. I don't care that if you're an octopus. I don't care if you identify as a rabbit. I don't really care. I just care that someone victimized you. That's it. I really don't care. I don't care if you identify as a jellyfish and you spend your day in a baby pool pretending to be a jellyfish. I don't really care. But if someone victimized you because of it, then I have a problem. They're saying here, several of the city council members expressed their condolences to the family and their support for the transgender community in a joint news release. They say our trans and all these letters, what is that? LGBTQIA plus. That's a frick a lot of letters. Residents, what are they saying? They're just saying they're residents who identify in this way have always been an integral part to the fabric of our communities. Thank you for that long statement that said nothing. Thank you. I appreciate it though. I don't know why they release statements like that. It's almost like, hey, quick, we need to say something so we don't look stupid. Quick, find something to tell us. Sam's life mattered, and I'm glad that there are some other channels covering it too. And we're going to find out more about Precious, Emily, Jennifer, and Kyle Sage and Patrick A. Goodwin. I have more words for them, but I'm not going to say them. Nikki says, hello, everyone. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. You liked the morning show today, Penguin? Gave you something to wake up with? I wasn't too angry for the morning. I may have been very angry during that show. I don't know why. I think the couple of cases we talked about really pissed me off. So I was like, especially that one in Arizona. I hate that guy. That guy is just such a scumbag, and his wife is not too much better either. I don't know if she's in some sort of coercive relationship or she's just crackers in the head. I don't know. Could be both. Could be in a coercive relationship and crackers in the head. So I don't know which one it is. Because to write that thing to the judge, you really have to be crackers. So, all right, they're saying here. Let me change to a different story. I have two for Sam. Let's go this one. Yep. So I'm going to take you to a local news network. This was their update on. It's not very long. It's about a minute, but I just wanted to show you like what the coverage is in the area. So yeah, I'll take you here.
In 1 week after a transgender man was reported missing in Canandaigua, New York State Police confirmed 24-year-old Sam Nordquist has been found dead. 5 people now: Precious Arzuaga, Jennifer Quijano, Kyle Sage, Patrick Goodwin, and Emily Motika have now been charged in his murder. State police say that Sam traveled from Minnesota to the Finger Lakes back in September of 24 and lost contact with his family. Investigators now believe that he was physically and psychologically tortured from December until February. That abuse led to Sam's death.
The facts and the circumstances of this crime are beyond depraved. This is by far the worst homicide investigation that our office has ever been a part of. It is an ongoing investigation, so we are necessarily limited in the things that we can talk about, but no human being should have to endure what Sam endured.
Officials are urging anyone with any information that could help the investigation to contact New York State Police.
Sorry about that. Sorry about the dead air. Someone decided that it would be fun to crinkle a bag of chips not far from the microphone for about a good minute. Someone thought that was a great idea while I've got a microphone on. You know, I was like, what are you doing? It was for sound effects. Oh, okay, I see. You're doing it again. Put it down. You go over there with your loud chips, all right? You go down that way. You stay over there, away from the microphone. It couldn't be. No, it was definitely the cats. Definitely the cats. I don't know why you're laughing. Who are you laughing at? BC. Hey, BC, good to see you. It's not a funny story. Just someone died. Do you understand? Like every story I talk about, someone died. You're laughing about chips. They're saying here. Yeah, so they're saying here 5 people ranging in age from 19 to 38 have been arrested and charged with second-degree murder with depraved indifference. According to the release, police identified the suspects. I already read their names out to you. I ain't going to do it again. They're saying investigators are still working to understand the relationships between the 5 suspects and Sam. They're saying CNN reached out to the attorneys representing the suspects, but then they didn't get any reply. The suspects were arraigned on Friday morning and are being held at the Ontario County Jail without bail. They say each suspect could face between 15 years to life if convicted, and even more if they tag this as a hate crime. It could be even more. Like, I don't know how you get more than life in prison, but you could. You can get eternity in prison, maybe. They say the Monroe County Medical Examiner's Office is still waiting to perform a autopsy and figure out exactly how Sam died. That is just brutal. So people are asking about the sexes of the people here. I don't know. Mrs. Ping was asking this earlier, and in my opinion, I thought the top 3 were female and the bottom 2 are male. But your guess is as good as mine. They say here that Precious, that would be, I'm guessing, I don't know, but I'm guessing maybe I don't know how they identify. I'm just guessing based on their, what I have, that these 3 would be biologically female. Is that the way you would describe that? That's the way I'm going to describe it. And these bottom 2 are male. I don't know. It's a little confusing, but that's Ping's guess. I don't know. Rare. The top 3 have female names. That's what I was going off to, and sort of how they. I don't like to judge people how they look, but yeah. Lindy says, I think the top, middle, and right are trans male to female. The top 2, top right. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, sure. But don't we call that? Do we call that? Wouldn't we just call that female? So wasn't I right? I don't know. I don't know how all this works. Yeah, I don't know. Ping doesn't know. Ping's not a trans person. I don't know. I just call them by their names. Like that's what I assume. Marlene says something like this case happened not far from me to a mentally disabled female years ago. I mean, it matters in a way for jail, I guess, depending on which jail they have to go to. How we talk about them, maybe. We can talk about them in words like these scumbags. That's what, as a whole, as a co-conspiracy, a bag of scum. There you go. They do have female names. That is true. Hey, Snapcrackle, how are you? I just want to catch up on a couple of comments. Share the chips, Mrs. Ping. I think she already put them away. We are getting hail. We had hail here last night. We had these huge hail. It was really cold. So it's been a weird weekend in Melbourne. It's like winter weather down here. It's freezing. And we had like huge hail ice come down last night about 10 p.m. Yeah, everyone says hi to you. She's waving. Yeah, they're in her tummy. That's right. She says she still has a bag here to prove to you that she didn't eat them all. Yeah, so where is the storms happening? Someone said we had snow. Snow, okay. Did someone say Tennessee is getting tornadoes? Hold on, let me have a look. Tennessee. Yeah. It is quite warm, 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity 81%. I can see why you might be getting some thunderstorms with 81% humidity. What's the dew point? Oh, I got a tornado watch out of Tennessee right now. What does it say? Tornado watch 9, the ninth one for the year. Remains valid until 1 a.m. Central Time Sunday for the following areas in Tennessee. This watch includes 22 counties in Middle Tennessee. Shit, that's weird. If a late Feb tornado outbreak. Let's have a look. What does it look like? What does it look like from? We get a lot of people from Tennessee in the chat. A tornado watch issued for the majority of Alabama as well. What the hell is Victory Land? I have no idea. What does it say? When was this updated? 31 minutes ago. Let's have a quick look.
We have a new tornado watch issued for the majority of central and south Alabama from Tallapoosa, Elmore, Montgomery, Crenshaw, Covington County, and points west. You are under this tornado watch until 4 a.m. Sunday. Keep in mind that doesn't mean east or southeast Alabama does not have a tornado threat. That just means as of right now, there's not enough evidence for the local National Weather Service offices to issue a tornado watch. That is to get people prepared for strong and severe storms that will enter West Alabama first and pack a punch. It's already doing so in Mississippi. Localized heavy rain, the potential of storms producing gusty, damaging wind and possible rotation means tornadoes and wind damage are the two biggest threats tonight. As many of you are trying to get ready to go to sleep, make sure you have multiple reliable ways to get weather information.
The future radar looks interesting. When you see it like this, all in a line, this is what we call like an MCS or MCSL, like a line thunderstorm, similar to a squall line, but not quite. It looks like it's moving quite fast, so I don't know. I can't see a live radar. This was for Alabama, but I'm guessing that Tennessee being further north, it'll be up here somewhere. Let's see. All right, hold on. I just want to look at the radar over TN. If we can get a radar from AccuWeather, maybe. Let's have a look. Oh wow, wow, that is a real hell of a line. I'll show you guys. Let me get onto here. Look at this. That line stretches from the Gulf and goes all the way up near the Great Lakes. All the way up here. Wow, that is a hell of a thunderstorm. Yeah, no wonder they're warning on this. You're probably going to get a lot of what we call rotation, like kinks in the line. And I don't see any sort of isolated cells except for down here. There is some isolation down near Louisiana. These ones that are coming ashore here probably get you some water spouts or something, maybe even some tornadoes within Louisiana as these come ashore and remain isolated. But once they join up with the line here, and if they stay within the line, maybe even out in front here in Mississippi on the front leading. So you got the big line here and you got these little ones in front. These would be the ones where you'd have like most chance of a supercell because they're isolated from this line. But if you're worried about this line and the line's more than what's going to impact you, you'd be looking for any sort of kinks in the line. You get these kind of curly cues, or they just sort of look like dog ears. It's hard to explain unless I can show you one, but they sort of come out and dip out, and you sort of get like a comma. We call them like a comma head. And that's what the rotation in the line is. So massive line heading up all throughout the eastern US right now, or central, and then heading east. But yeah, the most of the isolated stuff's down here. This is where I'd be more worried about like some sort of giant wedge tornado coming down in the overnight hours would be through Mississippi. But never, the ones on the line tend to be smaller, quicker, and they don't stay on the ground as long because the line moves and morphs so quickly that they tend to fall apart or they get sucked back into the line. They just evolve so quickly, so they're often shorter lived. But the ones here that you get this isolation out the front and down here, sort of, these would be my two worried areas. Would be like Baton Rouge, Lafayette, all around here, and then slightly out in front of the line here near Jackson. This is where you'd have the most. I would think, but it is nighttime. If this was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd be more worried because you have that daytime heating that's going to allow these storms to really fire up through the afternoon. But being that it's already nighttime, I don't know. I'd have to look at the dew points and what the measurements are out of this area. I don't know, but yeah, huge line. I hope everyone's going to be okay. Look like you're getting a bit of a snow and rain mix up here, though. Up here, so up in Indiana, you can see this like gradient here. This is a rain snow mix, so you get like a mix between the two systems. This is your warm air. So this is probably like your warm air pushing up north, and then you have your cold air coming down south. That's what's creating a lot of the instability in these thunderstorms as they move east. All right, enough weather. Enough weather. Sorry, I could talk. I could talk about this for hours. You hate the cold weather, yeah. So I hope all my friends that if you're affected by this, if this is coming your way through Tennessee, through Kentucky, by the looks of it too, Alabama, Mississippi, all through the South, I hope you are okay. Eastern Tennessee, we can have a look. So Eastern Tennessee is a while off though, guys. If you're over here on the other side of Knoxville, you're probably waiting a while. I don't know how fast this line is moving. Let's have a look. It's moving slow. 15, 20, 25. Okay. Like a while away? I don't know. Nashville, though, about to be impacted. But if you're over here, like Knoxville and further east towards the border, it's going to be like what? They're saying this is a future radar. So what time is it now? It's 11:16. So this is future radar. Once we get over here, this is 11:35. Oh, it looks like it's dying out. Look at that. I don't know if that's going to, this is what we call future radar. So it's an estimate of what's happening. That looks like it's going to go away. Not as strong as it was about an hour ago as it fired up. It's going to dissipate. You might be all right. Maybe once it gets closer to Knoxville, this thing might actually peter out. I don't know. Look at that. It looks really fierce going throughout the last couple of hours. And then as it starts to move a little further east, there might be something here. I can't see the synoptic map, but there might be something here that's like some sort of like boundary layer or something here that's forcing it to do this. Don't know. Sorry, guys. I don't have the rest of my maps and things like that. But yeah, interesting that the future radar is predicting this thing's going to die out. And it doesn't look quite as severe as it was about 2 hours ago. Yeah, there you go. You can see that intensity's come down. Still a thunderstorm, still a dual line by the looks of it now, but it's not as severe, not as bright in those colors. It looks like it might. Yeah, probably a wind event. As that line does eventually move through, you're probably looking at more a wind event, maybe some hail, tornadoes, maybe occasional like touchdown or something. You can never rule one out, especially when you have a line this big. You have so many variables along the line. It's very hard to know, but crime and weather by Ping. I'm sorry. I get caught up in my weather. Rachel said, thanks for sharing, Ping. I worry about my friends on here and I have family north of Birmingham. I love Alabama. One of my favorite places in the US. I don't know why I didn't mention it the other night, but I love that area. Mr. Ping told me Mr. Ping has really bad wind. Yes, that is true. April B says Mississippi has tornado warnings right now. That would not surprise me, being that I just told you that's where all the isolated cells are. So yeah, that's not surprising. Is it a tornado warning or a tornado watch? Let me see. Mississippi. So there's two types of warnings that you get with the National Weather Service. You get one that is like radar indicated. Radar indicated, it means basically they've only been able to observe what they see is a possible tornado based on the readings from the radar. There's other ones that are like visual. So if someone has called in that there's a tornado on the ground, that's normally a storm chaser, someone that works for the National Weather Service, a EMS person. So they sometimes, what does it say here? Let's say hazard tornado source, radar indicated rotation. So it is radar indicated. It's not no ground truth, what we call ground truth, but you should still take it seriously. So this is in Jackson, Mississippi right now. They've got a warning out for that county. It looks like it's moving, northeast. So it's moving sort of like on a slanted northeast kind of margin here. I don't see any others. That looks like the only one out right now. I expect this to die off. There might be a couple of like water spouts overnight, but we'll see. I think the line's coming to an end. So I appreciate it. Warnings according. Yeah, I just saw that. I can show it to you. There is one up here. So Jackson up here for this county. So if you live in this county where this red box is, what we call a octagon or warning box or whatever, it's here. So this is where the warning is, right where I said either on this line that was down on the Gulf here, or that little bit of isolation further up. So looks like they're still experiencing. I reckon it probably would have been stronger earlier in the day. When you have more like heating during the day, you have better conditions for the thunderstorms, more fuel. Although this time of year is like notorious for what they used to call, I don't think we're allowed to call it this anymore, but they used to call this area Dixie Alley. It was like a secondary tornado alley to the one that's in the plains. This area used to be called that. I don't know what the name they call it now. I just call it the South. But that's the word they used to use, but apparently it has some sort of racial bad things to it. But all throughout that area, the nighttime tornadoes are a really big threat heading through Feb, March, and early April. So there you go. All right, no more weather. Keep well, everyone out there. We could do more weather. I know during tornado season, if we get any really good days that pop up, we did a couple last year, like high risk. We did a couple of high risk days last year. If we get any more like really good high risk days, I'll come on and I will do tornado coverage again this year. It's something I really love. Don't love when they hit people, but I love explaining weather to people. All right, let's go back to the crime. We did that little update. Got a little break from the sad things, right? Don't like sad things. All right. I want to talk about this. I was having a conversation with someone in email, and I want to know what you all think. I really do. I want to know what your opinion of this woman is, because I'm getting very varied opinions. So I'm sure you've heard of her before. And she is a teacher arrested for having relations with a child that ended up living with her for a period of time. It was discovered when that child's grandfather, I think, Ping might be wrong there, might be dad. He basically went, "Oh, that your new baby looks like my son," and they figured out that it was the son. It was the son who was the father. So I want to know what you all think. She was given bail. So they gave her bail under strict conditions. They said the state hadn't proven that she was a big enough threat to the community to keep her behind bars. So yeah.
By parents, but tonight a fifth grade teacher in Cape May Courthouse is accused of having a sexual relationship with one of her students. Detectives say the abuse started when the child was 11 and lasted for years, and that the two share a child. Wednesday night, I'm Shari Williams. Rick has the night off. The big story on Action News tonight is a South Jersey teacher behind bars accused of sexually assaulting a young boy and having a child with him. Action News reporter Leland Pender has the story from Cape May County, and detectives say the investigation is far from over.
Middle Township Police and the Cape May County Prosecutor's Office both investigating here. Prosecutors say these alleged crimes occurred between 2016 and 2020, but the arrests just coming Wednesday. They're now asking anyone that might have even more information to please come forward. Once a fifth grade teacher, now behind bars with bond revoked. 34-year-old Laura Karen was taken into custody at a home on Orbit Drive Wednesday in Cape May Courthouse. Prosecutors allege she sexually assaulted a former student for several years and had his baby.
Do you know Miss Karen? There's nothing to see here. There's no one that wants to speak with you.
This unidentified man pulled up to the home while we were there. A short time later, another woman appeared from the home after we'd already left.
Do you want to talk to us?
No, I don't. I want you to see.
You came outside. Please, I'm willing to talk to you.
Authorities say the abuse began when the victim was 11 years old. According to the criminal complaint, a few years later, Karen gave birth to the victim's baby. Karen taught at Middle Township Elementary number 2, and the victim was once her student. Prosecutors say Karen and the victim's family became friends, leading to the victim and his siblings staying overnight with Karen once or twice a week, but at some point they began living with Karen permanently. Investigators say the case came to light last month when the victim's father posted on social media saying Karen's 5-year-old child looked very similar to him and his son. Neighbors say the arrest Wednesday appeared discreet. This woman said she saw multiple black SUVs but didn't realize they were police.
If it's true, I feel sorry for the people.
According to the prosecutor's office, the school district will have support services and counselors available for students, teachers, or families who may need that in light of this news.
I want to ask, why do you think we're seeing so much of this lately? I mean, there's still men that do this and perpetrate against children, but we're seeing a lot of women being arrested. I've covered at least 25 in the last 12 months, at least. Why do you think we're seeing so many women now being arrested for victimizing? And so the women victimization is a little bit different to the men. Men tend to victimize children that are around them in other settings, although sometimes teachers as well. But the women seem to be, it's in these type of jobs where there's a position of trust. It's really weird. I don't get it. And I don't understand why it seems to always be a teacher, especially with the women. It always tends to be one of their students who I don't understand. It's very odd. And we're seeing a lot more of it. We're seeing a lot more women being arrested for these type of things. Who is going to raise the child? I don't know. I would hope maybe the boy's family would be able to take care of the child. It is very disgusting. It is a bit creepy. Didn't he speak out to defend her as well? I'm pretty sure I read that the boy, the man, the kid who fathered that child, spoke out in defense of her, saying that like she was a good person and all this kind of stuff. I don't know if he's still a bit. I don't know. I don't know if he's a bit, can't understand the gravity of the actions or something like that. I think they didn't used to look at the women. You might be right that a lot of the women were under the cover of, that kind of maternal instinct type of thing. Like, oh, the ladies, they always take care of the kids. That type of thing. He doesn't know he's a victim still. It is very sad. I would have to look it up. Hold on. I think he's not that much older. Let me look it up. But I was having a discussion with someone, which I won't mention who it was, but I was having a talk in PM about it. And we were just throwing around ideas about why this offending seems to come up so often now. Well, we couldn't really nail anything down, but just weird. We keep getting a lot of Lauren Karen. That's it. Let me see. Trying to find the one with the. So he was 13 at the time when the baby was born. Here, this is the article that came out a few days ago from the Daily Mail. It says, I got my teacher pregnant when I was 13. Everyone calls her a predator, but I made the first move. They say a teenage boy who says he got his New Jersey teacher pregnant when he was 13 and she was 28 is standing by her after she was arrested and insisted he instigated the relationship. So the boy, who Daily Mail is not naming, said in an extraordinary exclusive interview that Laura Karen, 34, should not be facing trial and criticized anyone calling her a predator. Weird. So the boy is now 19. So the child the child she gave birth to would probably be like 5 or 6 now if it happened when they were 13. They say prosecutors said she preyed on the youngster and subjected him to years of abuse before allegedly having his child in 2019. Reportedly, the pair kept the romance secret, and Karen supposedly told her friends at a baby shower that the father was out of the picture. The relationship only emerged years later when the boy's father saw a photograph of Karen's then toddler daughter and noticed the uncanny resemblance with his own son. They say now Karen, if convicted, could be facing a decade behind bars on aggravated SA charges that has sent shockwaves through the school and local community. In an interview with the Daily Mail, the boy said she shouldn't be jailed and insists he wasn't groomed by her. Interesting. They say he added that he isn't allowed to talk to the child as the case makes its way through the courts. He says they need to drop all charges. I wasn't groomed, R-worded, or manipulated by her. She never initiated anything. I started everything. If it was up to me, she wouldn't be in jail. It's been 6 or 7 years. I'm 19, about to be 20. The teen rejected any suggestion the alleged abuse happened when he was 11, calling the allegations crazy. They're saying here she was photographed looking stressed as she emerged from court, but did not respond to any questioning. She's due back in court on February 25th, in about 10 days' time. So, I don't know. What do you think? Like, he's 19, almost 20 now, and he says that nothing untoward happened, but that's our laws, right? That's the laws. You can't go around sleeping with children. We hang people for less than this. We hang men who don't sleep with little girls but touch them. Like, we literally throw them in bars for like 40 years, if not put them on death row. Like, it's interesting the reverse here, that a woman did it to a young boy, and the outcry while there isn't as deafening if this happened to a young girl. If this happened to a little girl, I think there would be like marches, there would be like some sort of Me Too movement thing. There would be like someone would start a protest. There'd be like, coordinated things across the world. People would like write billboards. Like, it would be very different. And I don't know why we don't take it as seriously when it is a woman involved. It's the same. You're victimizing against children. And if you feel that way against a young female, you should feel the same way against a young boy. Doesn't matter what he says. He could be still brainwashed from her affection for all those years, right? We don't know. We don't have the psychological report. He could still remember that fondly for wrong reasons, which happens quite frequently. A lot of people in these type of abuse cases often have fond memories of their abusers, and it's sort of like a Stockholm syndrome type of thing. They think it was lovely, but it wasn't. It's a crime. So he can say all he wants that he's the one who hit on his teacher. She was the adult in the situation that should have knocked back his advances and said, "Hey, you're a child." That's where this criminality is, because she's the adult in the situation. He was a kid. That's where the line is, really. It is a twisty one. Hey, Sean, good to see you. How much time did Mary Lou? We were talking about her earlier. Yeah, I don't remember. I wasn't around when she went to jail. I know the story. I know bits of it, that they eventually got back together later on, and she died, right? She died recently. Um, but I don't remember how much time she spent in jail. It was before my time. I was like 10. I was like 10 years old when she went to jail. Someone said our brains in this chat don't understand why adults do this. Our brains in this, yeah. I don't get it. I don't understand. Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember that. Yeah, she died, right? Yeah. But they end up getting back together, and I think they split up a couple times and things like that. But they ended up being together for at least a number of years. Let me check it out. What's her name? How do you spell her name? Mary Kay with some sort of French last name that Pink will never be able to pronounce. All right, hold on. Okay. Let me see. She died at 58 in 2020. So she died a while ago. Let's see. Let me go to her little Wikipedia. Very strange. I don't know what hot women look like in the when did the offending happen? In the 80s or 90s or whatever? In 1991. I don't know what hot women look like in 1991, but that's not what I envisioned. Let's see. She was arrested March 1997 after a relative of her husband contacted the police. While awaiting sentencing, she gave birth to her daughter. While the state was seeking a 7.5 year prison sentence, she reached a plea bargain calling for 6 months in jail with 3 months suspended and no contact with the victim for life, among other terms. Shortly after she had completed 3 months in jail, the police caught her in a car with the victim. A judge revoked her plea agreement and reinstated the prison sentence for the maximum allowed by law of 7.5 years. 8 months after returning to prison, she gave birth to the second child, another daughter. Geez, hyperfertile. Hyperfertile to be doing back-to-back babies. Although they do say when you have one child and it's really easy to get pregnant again, something like that. Like if you try again really quickly after the first one. What does it say here? After spending a year and a half, she spent a year and a half? No, half a year in solitary confinement for her communication attempts with her victim. They really didn't want to let each other go, did they? After her release, she and her victim successfully petitioned the court to have their no contact order lifted. They were married in 2005. The marriage lasted 14 years until their separation in 2019. She died in 2020, age 58, from colon cancer, leaving much of her estate to her original child victim. What a weird case. Strange. She was way before my time. Her dad was a state congressman. Jeez. I think she stole his whole life. It's very sad. She had to end up having 4 kids with him. The first 2 kids are 14 months apart. Your 2 kids are 14 months apart, not on purpose. Well, Kathy was having a fun time. Says here, Carolina. Hey, Carolina, where are you playing tricks on me? Are you my other Carolina? I'm concerned that you are, and you're just all trying to gaslight me. She was 27 years old, and he was only 12 years old. Hey, I don't understand it either. 4 kids in the end. 4 kids. Yeah, they don't mention that. They only mention that they had the first 2 girls. No, they had 6 children. It says, oh, she has 6, so maybe she had 2 with her original husband. Brutal. Brutal. Do you think it's going to follow that one? I think we've learned a bit since her, right? I think so. In the 30 years since this happened, 34 years, I think we've learnt more about this type of offending, or at least I hope we have. And hopefully this won't repeat itself. Because it really seems like it's going down that road. Yeah, I don't know. What do you do with child victims once they get to adulthood and can make their own decisions as a legal adult? How do you stop them? Like, I mean, do you keep that no contact order in place for life to protect the victim? Maybe. Maybe they have to do that automatically, and then you can never get it lifted. It doesn't matter what your reasons are. It doesn't matter even if the victim's like, I love her, she's the love of my life. You'd be like, go find a different woman. Go find a woman your own age. Like, maybe that's what they have to do. Just no contact for life, forever. Never lift it. Like they write in the notes, can never be lifted under any circumstances. Maybe that's what they have to do. She died a very horrible death, though, from colon cancer. That is a really, really horrible form of cancer that really messes people up. I don't. I mean, I have sympathy for her for that, but not for her offending. Her offending was horrific. And now we have another one. Now with this other boy that's all over the media trying to defend his abuser. So, he did admit it that she basically controlled his life. Basically, very sad. First, okay. Gayla says no. I would let them make their own choices. Okay. Lisa says it's like being in a cult. I think. Okay. You're giving me different answers. There's no consensus. Everyone here has a different idea. Some people are like, nah, they're adults. They can do what they want. Some of them are like, yes, that's a good idea. You guys are going to have a little meeting. You're going to have to get together. You're going to have to figure out a consensus and then come back to the chat. So I can give you 24 hours to do that. Wendy R says, no, our other Caroline is a different lady. I don't know what happened to her. I'm really worried. Has anyone seen her lately? We had another lady that had the name Carolina in her name, and I used to call her Carolina, but I haven't seen her in about a month. I hope she's okay. I hope nothing bad has happened to her. I'd be very worried. She was a big supporter. I haven't seen her in a while. Yeah, Carla. I have her email. I'll contact her. I'll see if she's doing all right. Yeah, Carla with a K. That's it. I have her email. I'll email her. I am worried because she was here like every day for like months and months and months and then just disappeared. But hey, that happens in true crime. I swear to God, there's people I've seen pop up. They stay for a couple of months and then I don't see them for about 5 months and then they come back. My lovely friend Shell Huffman just had a change in life and she disappeared and I thought, oh my God, she hates me. But I caught up with her a few months later and it's just her life changed and the show times didn't like match what she was doing in her life. And but she drops in every now and then and says hi. I love seeing her. Love seeing my friend. Kathy Lynch says, I have no sympathy for an adult grooming or molesting a child. I don't either. Yes, I know you are, Lisa. Where's Sean? Where's she today? She with you? Are you guys burning pizzas? Is that what you do on a Sunday? You guys get together, turn on an oven and forget pizzas? You let me know. Gia. Hey, Gia. Hey, good to see you, my friend. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Marilyn, all right. Let's get out of this. Why are we doing this? We get sidetracked. My ADHD gets the better of me. My ADHD. Hey, it's Saturday night? Yeah, that's okay. It's Saturday night. We normally have a very ADHD night on Saturdays where Ping just does whatever he can find. That tends to happen at least once a week on the weekend. All right. Oh, actually, I want to talk to you about something. I've been researching more about these attacks on men in Colombia. Do you remember we did this a while ago and I was teaching you all about a drug called, now I'm going to pronounce it wrong, even though me and Mrs. Ping talked about it for an hour. Scopolamine? Scopolamine? It's a drug that's made from nightshade type plants. Often Datura is one of them. And it's sort of this weird rumor that's been going around South America for a while that men have been attacked often when trying to pick up a young lady, and they either blow it into their face off the hand in a powder form, or they dissolve it in water and spray it into the face of the victim. And some of these, apparently it's so potent that these victims have no idea what's going on for many days at a time. And then they wake up and they've been robbed. They may even be killed. Apparently, in the last 2 years, there's over 50 tourist men that have been found dead, just scattered across the city, and they don't really understand why it's happening. But they believe these people might be targeting the sex trade, and then something is going wrong. They don't know if it has to do with this scopolamine, but it's a very interesting drug. And it actually, like I said, it comes from Datura, and you can get it from a few different things. So it comes from nightshade plants, and a few different nightshade plants produce the chemical that you need to make it. The reason why Datura is so popular, widely linked to it, is because Datura was often used by teenagers to get some sort of high from it. But the research I've done on it says Datura doesn't really give a very good recreational high because it's often a very bad trip. Like, it's a really dark trip. It's not a nice experience. It's very negative, and it's not used recreationally very often because it's you want to have fun. That's why people do that. They don't want to have like a scary experience where they lose control of their body, or can't keep their thoughts and things like that. So it's not used very often, but the fact they use it to make scopolamine is very interesting. But yeah, I don't know if any of you have heard about this before. Kathy Lynch says that sounds like something out of an Agatha Christie novel. Do you guys want to watch a little bit of the interview I'm talking about? Give me a second, because it's very, very, very. Imagine if this came to the USA and people started doing it. Like, you guys have all heard about these strippers that they made a movie about, right? With J-Lo, that Cardi B as well, that they used to drug these men. Imagine if scopolamine came to the USA and they started using it in this way against strippers, like strippers using it against their clients to rob them and take all their money. So give me a sec, I'll load it up.
They become the center of international sex tourism.
Extranjeros que le gustan vírgenes o inocentes.
Girls as young as 10 kidnapped by the gangs and sold to foreigners for sex. I just saw 4 young girls that are not older than 11 or 12 years old.
All right, this front bit more deals with the sex industry, so I'm going to bring it forward to talk about the scopolamine. If I can grab it here, it should be just over here. He actually goes to a person who shows it to, like, shows the substance to him in a dingy hotel room. So let me see if I can find where he. Yeah. So actually, here, talk about the tourist here first.
In here, the sex industry is now worth millions to the economy of Medellin, fueling the bars, the hotels, and even the taxis.
Señores, señor alcalde, ¿cómo estás?
The man in charge is Federico Gutierrez. I wanted to ask him who he values more, the tourists coming in or the children of Medellin.
Esta es una ciudad que fue creciendo los últimos años de una manera grande en tema de turismo y recibimos 1,5 millones de turistas al año. Pero sí hay un grupo de personas que para mí no son turistas, para mí son unos enfermos y hay que perseguirlos, sean de donde sean. Podemos dejar estigmatizar nuestra ciudad, que es una ciudad hermosa que se ha superado de momentos ya muy difíciles.
But the mayor has another problem on his hands. With so much money to be made from organized crime, it's not just the people of Medellin who have become victims to the gangs. Now it's the tourists as well.
Tonight, an urgent warning for Americans visiting Colombia.
The family of a young man from Orange County is struggling with their grief.
The Woodbury man was just found killed in Colombia under suspicious circumstances.
In the last 3 years, over 80 foreigners have been killed here, many of them drugged and robbed after meeting women for dates. This year alone, there's been a tourist death on average every 6 days.
A tourist death every 6 days, and they are attributing at least some of it to this sex industry in the local area for people searching for these minors. It is really disturbing on that count, and then the ways they may actually kill these people is even worse. So here we go.
Now the US Embassy has blamed a local drug called Scopolamine, or devil's breath, that it says incapacitates its victims in seconds, making them easy targets to rob or kill. I wanted to see if the rumors were true. Not far from the tourist square, I found a woman who says she uses it to drug and rob foreigners. She agreed to speak to us as long as we did not show her face.
El tapabocas.
Ya, ¿esto para qué es?
Para prevenirte que no se te vaya a entrar el polvo, ¿sí? Porque cualquier contaminación o el simple hecho de tocarlo lo duerme.
Cuando dices dormir, dormir es...
Dormir son 2-3 días. Si me paso de la dosis, sería que dormiera para siempre, matarlo.
Maria has been working for the gang since she was 8 years old.
So like they said, she's been working with the gang since she was 8 years old. And like this drug, she'll show you in a second, she'll take it out, and they even made him wear a mask and gloves because they're worried that it might affect him. Really, really bizarre. Some of the research I did into this particular drug, it's used legitimately. Like you can often get scopolamine patches. They give it to people in post-op surgery to help with nausea and pain and things like this. But it's a slow-acting drug. It takes many days and weeks to come through the skin. So they don't understand how it's working with this powder, because they're saying it doesn't absorb in that way. You'd have to ingest a large amount for it to actually work against you. And they're saying they don't know if this is some sort of like tale that these people are telling. So these tourists are afraid or something. And it's sort of like some sort of overreaction to being sprayed in the face. They pass out or something thinking, oh my God, it's scopolamine. I don't know, but...
Recently, she started using scopolamine on tourists.
Eso parece cocaína, ¿no?
Sí, con esta sola roca.
Uy, quieto. Sí.
Tengo para dormir más de 3-4 personas.
Con ese pedacito.
Con este solo pedacito.
By drugging and robbing foreigners, she can make 100 times what she would earn for the gangs by sex work alone. All it takes is a small dose of devil's breath.
Entonces ya la mayoría ya no necesitan hacerlo porque uno no puede hacer esto delante de un cliente.
No.
Uno ya lo lleva preparado.
I noticed when she put it in this little container, it's effervescent. You can see it. It's like when you put a Barocca or a vitamin thing in water. Why is it doing that? Are they mixing it with something like bicarb or something? It's very strange. It shouldn't do that. If you put a drug in water, it's just going to dissolve. It's not going to do this type of effervescent type action with the oxygenation of the powder. It's a little strange. I've not seen that. Very weird. That's someone who needs to be deported. Yeah, interesting. Might be air. Yeah, so what it is, it's oxygenation, and then it rises up, but it shouldn't do that. I wonder if they mix it with something like a tablet, like a Barocca or something like that, some sort of effervescent powder. But it's weird. I'll show you some of the research in a second.
¿Y usted la ve?
Se desapareció completo.
Se desapareció completo.
¿Y en el sabor sientes algo o no tiene sabor?
No tiene sabor. Es simple, se abre un splash
Sí.
y se durmió.
¿Tú crees que alguno de los que tú has dormido puede haberse muerto?
Pues yo espero que no, pero muy seguramente sí, eso puede haber pasado.
Los últimos 3 años han fallecido como cerca de 80 turistas aquí en Medellín. ¿Tú eso te parece un número alto o tú crees que es mucho más alto?
No, yo creo que es más alto, sino que no a todos los muestra.
The underworld of Medellin is what.
All right, I'm going to stop it there because I don't want to play all their video. That is from Channel 4 News in the UK. Yeah, it is weird, and like some people in the chat are saying, it looks like bicarbonate, right? Which would react with the water like that. Like maybe it's a cutting agent that they use, which wouldn't surprise me. But I'll show you some of the research on scopolamine and why this doesn't make any sense. Let me switch to here. I'll show you the pharmacology of it, if that's the right word. Ping just makes up words. There you go. So here goes scopolamine here, but so it's actually got legitimate uses. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not actually this. This is a hard drug to kind of manufacture. It's not super easy. I wouldn't be surprised if what they're actually getting given is a benzodiazepine, and they just saying it's dragon's breath, because apparently people who have been tested in death after this haven't come up for this drug. They have come up for benzodiazepine, especially in this region. So interesting. Yeah. Pharmacodynamics, that means different compounds and how they react. That's not what we want. But so this is the how they make it out of plants, like how you get that chemical reaction or the chain reaction here. Ping's not a chemist. Don't ask him to make any drugs. Here we go. Recreational religious use. Where are they talking about? Yeah, so they're talking about here how it's not really a very good drug for like recreational use, especially if you use pure datura. Datura contains like other types of alkaloids that don't work well with the scopolamine. Like it's not a good mix together. Often makes for a dark trip. But they're saying here. Here. Where is it? Here. They're saying especially skin absorption or skin exposure, as the dose that can be absorbed by the skin is too low to have any effect. Scopolamine transdermal patches must be used for many hours to days to have any effect on the human body. And they say, although poisoning by scopolamine appears to be quite often in the media as an aid for R-word, kidnapping, killing, or robbery, the effects of this drug and the way it is applied by criminals, transdermal injection on playing cards paper, spraying it, blowing it in their face, whatever, are often exaggerated. They say, again, especially skin exposure, it doesn't not enough absorbs through your skin to be able to give you such a high dose. So something tells me what they're selling or what they're giving to these individuals to drug people is probably not scopolamine. Maybe at one point it was. Maybe at one point there was a lot of it around and it was very high dosage or something. But to be able to have this so frequently, I don't think so. I think it's probably a different drug altogether. Very similar to the I taught you about the 2C situation. So that's like 2CB and how it became really popular in South America. Then it came to the USA. But often now it's no longer the research chemical called 2CB. It's a mixture of other drugs like cocaine, ecstasy, that type of thing. It's not actually 2CB. 2CB was really popular in the early 80s, 90s, early 2000s, quite easy to get. But recently it's a little harder to get. It's not as common. And having it in large amounts to be able to make this type of like big batches of drug is not really super possible. It is, but it's not as easy as getting like cocaine or something. It's harder to get. So this is very interesting how they keep making these stories about this scopolamine, but then when you actually dig into the details here, it doesn't seem to make any sense, including like this skin exposure not having any effect on individuals. So I would love to know what they're actually giving them. And I have a funny feeling it's probably benzodiazepine because you can get really high strength benzo, and benzo will knock you out if you have a high enough dose. And I'm pretty sure benzo does transdermal absorption. So interesting. I wonder if someone has tested it. That guy, just take off the mask, bro. You got a TV crew, they'll save you. Do it for the team. Sounds more like what you get from a poisonous frog. Somewhere out there in South America, there is a farm of poisonous frogs used to drug tourists and take their money or kill them. These frog farms have been sorry, I can't do it. It's so funny. I can just imagine like a farm with like 10,000 frogs, and they're done by cartels, and they're keeping all these dart frogs alive to like poison tourists. Sorry, it's so funny. I just think it's could you imagine that? Oi, Mrs. Pink, can you imagine that? Like a whole farm in South America, like the drug cartels, they're keeping like 10,000 poisonous dart frogs to farm them for their poison to kill tourists. No. Oh.
I could picture it, yes. They would do anything for
Sorry, I got off track. That was so funny. The mental image of that was too good. It was too delicious. I was just sitting there going, like, there could be this giant thing. Lisa said, I did check my text. I saw what you're asking about. I don't know if I'll do that story. I think I might leave it. It's not an industry I'm interested in talking about. Sorry, I don't. Yeah, I know it's important, but it's not an industry I know a lot about. It is an important issue, but I don't know a ton about it, unfortunately. I like to talk about things I at least have some knowledge in. Like I have knowledge in this type of stuff. I have knowledge in these, things, but the one you're asking about is I don't know enough about it to talk about it. That's the thing. Like we get a lot of suggestions on things to talk about on the channel, and I try stick to things that I know about, or at least have some education in, because people want to come here and get an educated opinion. They don't want me to just talk crap. So, I mean, I get it. I do my research on everything, but again, I don't like to do it right now. I don't know enough about it. Maybe another night when I can have some time to dig into the background surrounding it. But I haven't read much about it. Like I know what you're talking about, but I don't know enough about it. But I agree it is important. About 4 a.m. You have to keep an eye on that radar. Make sure it's not going to pick back up. I don't know. It looked way worse like a few hours ago. Like I had a bigger risk threat, but maybe it's going to pick back up again. What does it look like now? Let's have a look. Maybe I'd have to have a couple of days to really dig into the background into it. So what she's talking about, I'll tell you so people can get into the conversation. She's talking about the surrogate industry and what's going on with that in some countries right now. But the legal, I might have to speak to. We have someone who knows more about this, but I don't. Like I know someone who does with this legal stuff in Europe. I might have to ask them more about it because I don't know. Yeah, maybe later on, maybe a different show. I've got someone I know that does EU law, that does like different laws around the EU. I can talk to them and see what their opinion is about how this works because it is an interesting industry. The one thing that makes me very sad is the children that are left behind. So say they pay a surrogate to have the baby, and the baby ends up having like I don't know a birth defect or some sort of birth I don't know what the word for it is, birth condition like Down syndrome or something like that, and they just leave the babies and they just abandon them with the surrogate mother. So the mom got paid, but now she's got a baby that she really sort of didn't want, It was supposed to go to a different family, and now she's stuck with it. And they either end up in an orphanage or, worse. So it's a really big it's a really big problem. I understand why couples do it. I also feel sorry for the women who are treated like incubators, like literally incubators, and that is not very kind to the women. But I need to research a little more because I don't understand how it works from different country to different country, like India, and then some Eastern European countries, and how they do it in America, Australia. Are there laws? What are the laws? How is it different? I don't know enough about it, but I'll research it. We'll do it another night. Sean says, scopolamine had been used to get people to commit violent crimes. See, that's where I'm getting a bit funny on this, because they're saying that it's not possible. Even with transdermal injection, so that is a needle into your muscle or skin, that they can't do it. It doesn't work that way. So I want to know, what are they actually giving these people that is making them think they're on some sort of scopolamine when it's not. Nikki said Laurie would never do that. She loves the limelight. Laurie Valor, you couldn't do it. Yeah, Laurie loves attention. She does. Okay, let me have a look. Okay, thanks, Kathy. Let me open this. It's hard to tell. Can I put this up, or does it show your home? It shows your home. I'm not going to put it up. It looks okay. I think it's going to move fairly quickly. I think like they said, it's mostly a wind event. You're going to be okay. It's going to move fast. Under an hour, it'll be gone. You guys will be all right. If you hear the sirens, though, Ping never said anything. I didn't say anything. I'm not a meteorologist. I take no claim to knowing anything about weather. Let me see. What was this about Laurie Vallow? Laurie's trial in Arizona coming up. I worry about my friend Kresha. I haven't spoken to Kresha in a while. I should do that. I worry about her. I worry about her family. They've been through freaking years of hell. I don't even know where it ends. But I feel like Laurie is doing this type of shit to keep them coming out constantly. Like, if she just pled guilty to all this stuff, it'd be all over in a few months, like all done. She'd go serve her sentence. Like, she ain't getting out of jail in Idaho anyway. So why does she want to go to trial? What does she want to do? Beat the murder charge? Like, for what reason? You ain't getting out anyway. Who cares? What do you want? You don't want it on your permanent record? What are you, a school kid? Who cares? I feel like it's just to keep victimizing the victims in this case, and to keep them opening up that wound of the stuff she's done to people. And it's her way of having some control over the situation when she's in a situation that doesn't have very much control. Because she's, at a minimum, at her base, she's a control freak. That's what Laurie Vallow is. She's an absolute control freak. That's what she. If you've done Laurie Vallow, which I have done a lot of work on that case, probably a lot more than a lot of other people. At the heart of it, she's a control freak. Like, that's exactly what is Laurie Vallow's daily life. Control everything. Yeah. I think that shouldn't be allowed. That's so shit. I'm so annoyed about that. So annoyed that Kay and Larry have to go through that. They're lovely people. Yeah, they're lovely. I don't think they should be allowed to do that. That's really wrong. I hate that. I hope Kresha's is Kresha gonna stay home, or is she going to Arizona? Does anyone know? Has Kresha said on her channel? I haven't talked to her in a while. I have to send her a message and see how she is. I haven't talked to Kresha in a while. Hope she's doing good. Hope she's not in these storms in NOLA. Sounds like she's an attention whore. Yeah, she is an attention whore. That's exactly like Laurie Vallow could get a tattoo on her forehead that says "attention whore," and everyone would be like, "Oh, it's true. That's a great label." Yeah, I can't stand Laurie Vallow. Just Yeah, Kay, Larry, and Crasher, they're lovely people. They're all really nice. Can you remind people of about Bung Siraboon one day? Yeah, we could do that one day. There's some more interesting stuff coming out um, about Mr. Cruel. I got a tip off that there will be some new information later this year. I don't know what it's about. It was from someone who works in the Melbourne media, and they were told that there's something happening later this year. I don't think it's an arrest or something like that. I think it's just maybe more information or something. But they told me to keep an eye out. Lisa said, "Yeah, I can do that. That is a very strange case. If you don't know who Bung Siraboon is, she was a little girl who went missing not far from me, actually, and she was walking to school one day and never got to school. They don't know what happened to her. They have no idea. No, not even 1%. Nothing. They don't know where she went. They don't know if got abducted. They don't know if someone threw her in a storm drain or a garbage bin. They have no idea. Nothing. Not even a lead. They have no leads. Nothing. It's really weird. I don't really understand how at 8:30 in the morning or whatever it was, very early, just before school time in Australia, how a little girl could walk to school and there wouldn't be like 150 witnesses. Like there would have to be other children, people driving to work, people driving their kids to the school. How did they not see her? Like there's no one. No one saw her walking. There's been a couple of witnesses come forward, but it's a little shaky. No definitive like I saw her here. She was like at the school gate. Some guy came and then took her or something. Like it's like one girl said she thought she saw her like walking up a certain street, but I don't know if they ever fully confirmed her version of events. What? I don't know what I don't know what she's yelling at me for. I don't know what you're yelling at me for, friend. You have to tell me. I'm happy that you're yelling at me, but I don't know what. I will tell you. Might be the same old, maybe. Kresha will be going to the trial in Arizona. That's what she said on her last live stream. I'm happy that she's going to have great attention for her channel. I hope she'll be all right. That's all. I should be with her mom and dad. I'm sure she'll be all right. She is not white and blonde. It's just weird though. It's just weird. It really is. I just don't get it. Do you guys want to see something on Bung? We could do that right now. I know enough about her case to talk for like 2 hours. They also had a weird guy that came forward and said he buried her in a landfill or a park or something. So the cops went out there and dug it up, and they're like, "There's nothing out here." Realized that he was full of crap, and it was a false lead. He just basically got discredited, and they were so hopeful that he really was the killer. He said he had hit her and then put her in the car and then taken her out and buried her, but it wasn't true. Here, I'll show you just a little thing about her anniversary. Yep. I'm just trying to find one that we can use that's not going to get us smacked over the head. All right, here.
Since 13-year-old Boronia schoolgirl Bung Siraboon left home for school and was never seen again. Her heartbroken family has never given up hope she will be found, and today launched a new appeal for help.
Every day for the past 10 years, Fred Patterson has wondered with dread what happened to the little girl who called him dad. Bung Siraboon left for school on this day in 2011, but she never arrived.
It can break you. It can, and put you in a hole.
The grief was too much for her mother, who returned to Thailand 6 months after Bung vanished. But Mr. Patterson stayed at their Boronia home in the hope Bung would come back.
when we're going to find out something. When's she going to come back? When are we going to get some news?
The heartache for Bung's friends is still so raw. Abby Waters remembers the day her best friend never made it to the school gate.
So I miss her. And we all want her back. And when I found out, no one really believed it was happening, and I was putting posters up.
Over the years, police have probed the strong possibility the teenager was abducted. They checked the alias of more than 200 registered sex offenders in the area, but still no answers.
Pretty sure that she didn't get into a car by herself without, being forced in.
The 13-year-old walked this exact path to school every single day. And although a lot has changed since 2011, what hasn't changed is the pain for Bung's family.
A case that's left more questions than answers.
10 years of just wondering, thinking, is she still out there? Will she come home? Will we ever know?
Cassie Zervos, 7 News.
Yeah, so I've always felt a little funny about this case. That there just seems to be something missing. I don't know what it is. I'm not blaming it like her parents or anything like that. There's just something missing here. It's the situation that they describe is not right. Like, do you know how often it's been that a girl has been abducted in Melbourne and they haven't been able to get like one lead? I think it's happened like twice in Melbourne's history, and one of them was in like the 1960s. That you know they didn't have the same investigative technology that they did in 2011. It's strange. There's something I don't know what it is. I've heard a lot of people blame the dad. I don't think there's anything with the dad. I think he's been cleared like 4 times. Doesn't mean he's innocent, but it's a pretty good indication that the cops don't find him suspicious. The mom, I don't think did anything to her child. It's just something weird with it. It's just nothing seems quite right. Because like I said, it's very early in the morning. There was hundreds of people driving. There was people driving up to drop their kids off at that school, and no one really remembers seeing a young girl get abducted. It's off. There's something off. It always has been. The fact that they've never found a trace of her always struck me as weird. No, she's never been found. She's still missing today in 2025. Yeah, it's not the state. I don't believe it's him. He's the only one who stayed, right? He still lives in that home. I think he's the only one who stayed here in Australia. The mum and the other child went back to Asia. They went back. They don't live here anymore. They went back to where they. That sounds awful, Ping. They went back to their home country. They don't live in Melbourne anymore. They do kill their children, that is right, but I think they've investigated him like 50 times. I think the cops originally thought it was him. I think very early on they targeted the father, thinking that he had killed her and she never went to school. But then I think they got a lead saying that someone had seen her walking to school and they dropped it. They said basically like, okay, it's obviously not him. I don't know, but it's odd. Carolina says, Ping, is Melbourne a high crime area? I remember hearing about the Australian backpack killer, Ivan Milat. Melbourne itself is a fairly safe city, but it is still a city nonetheless. There is crime. There is youth crime, which has been happening quite frequently where I live. Quite often kids breaking into homes at night, stealing vehicles, bashing people up. That is happening quite frequently in the area I live in. But it is a fairly safe city. Now, nothing is 100%. There's crimes that happen every day, even in the safest cities in the world. But it's a fairly okay city. I've walked home at 2 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, it's a bit freaky, but I've never been attacked. I'm also a guy, so look, hey, I get that. I'm a 6'1" guy, almost 6'2", and I'm a pretty big guy. People don't tend to mess with me, and I get that. So, but for like a woman or a smaller guy, it may be different, but it is a bit of there is crime around. I wouldn't say it's crime ravaged or whatever, but it has its moments. Like the last couple of years been pretty bad. And then there's other times where we have very low crime and it's very good. Crimes against women, unfortunately, very high in Melbourne. A lot of women being attacked. It's very, very sad, including a girl who was attacked in the city, walking home from her job, and was R-worded and killed in a park. That happened a few years ago now, that poor girl. Where was she last seen? I think it's a street just outside of her home. It's just around the corner. They say she was walking to school and went down this road. So it was a road, I think about 2 minutes. Ask Lisa. It's about 2 minutes from her home, right? It's just around the corner. There's a street that leads up to the primary school. I think that's the road that they reckon she was last on. That's okay. The Holman case, missing 7-year-old thinks it was the stepmom. Holman. Kylan or Kyla or something? Kylan? You have to tell me the first name. I can't. It starts with a K, right? I'm pretty sure. Ping's memory is. I can't remember all the cases. But yeah. Maybe it was someone they knew. Possibly. I do believe that could be a real possibility. Wendy R said something seems to be covered up about it. Is there corruption in law enforcement there? Look, I live in Victoria. There's only so much I can say about Victorian police without me getting a knock at the door. The Victorian police have a very checkered history. Does that history extend to today? I don't know. But I will tell you that they've had some challenges over the years. Are they fixing that? I don't know. I don't work for the police, but I can tell you that they have had some, issues over the years. I don't think it's corruption, though. I don't think there's a cop that's out there killing little girls or something like that. I will tell you that I do possibly believe that Mr. Cruel may have been something like a cop, a security guard, something in authority. That would make a lot of sense. Lisa said they can touch me. Unfortunately, I'm a public figure, so if I say stuff, they can come for me. I know other people that have got knocks at the door after saying stuff on YouTube about VicPol. So I'll just say that they seem to be doing a better job now. I don't know if that means in all areas, but they seem to take it more seriously. Hey, seriously now? Come at me. I know you've had a history with VicPol. All right. So that's Sarah Boone Bung. Very, very sad case. Let me see if I got a photo of her. I'll take you to the VicPol website after we just talked about them. So this is her missing persons website. This is the photo that everyone knows of her. Everyone. This is the one that they had on all the posters at the time. This is her school photo. And they're saying here, a missing person. She was last seen Thursday, the 2nd of July, 2011, when she left her family home in Boronia to walk to school. And she was born in 1997. She is from, her ethnicity is Thai. So she's Taiwanese. Oh, is that how you pronounce that? I hope so. Yeah, so Boronia in Victoria. That's where she's from. And this is the situation that they've put to the public. They said she was seen by a neighbor a short time later in Elsie Street, walking towards Albert Avenue. She did not arrive at school that day and failed to return home in the afternoon. Did the school not call and say, like, your child isn't here at roll call? Normally they do that. They call the parent and say, hey, your kid's not here. Yeah, so it was 8:25 a.m. in the morning. I can tell you that Melbourne is busy as hell at 8:25 a.m. in the morning. There are cars everywhere because parents are trying to get their kids to school. People are trying to get to work. There's buses, there's people, like any city. There's people everywhere. So it's always struck me as so weird that no one other than maybe one neighbor on Elsie Street saw her that day. It's so weird. Like school kids walking to school didn't see her. The high school kids that were going to the other high school, they didn't see her. It's odd. I don't get it. There's another photo of her here. It's a nice photo of her. Yeah, she's considered missing, and the police think that the police say they have no new leads for her. She is a cold case. She is considered, I'm pretty sure, internally as a cold case. So pretty brutal. Yeah, that's true. They didn't. The school didn't inform when Maddie Soto was missing. That is true. Lisa says, I would love to know. Me too. Carolina said she would be in her mid-20s today. She was 11. Yeah, she'd be 24, 25 today. Yep, she'd be a grown woman. She'd be a grown lady. Beautiful hair. She did have nice hair. That is true. Could we do a show on Mr. Cruel? I think we've done a few. I think we've done a few shows on Mr. Cruel already. I mean, yeah, we could do more. I like Mr. Cruel's case. There's a person I'd like to get on the show to talk about it. They run a website called Melbourne Marvels, and they've done a lot of research on Mr. Cruel. They have a lot of stuff that's not public, a lot of news clippings from like 30 years ago. I might reach out to them and see if they are at all interested in doing an interview on Mr. Cruel. Oh, actually, there's another story. So I was posting about this last week. I want to show it to you. It's not a crime, although it sort of is. I want to show you this because hold up. There's a company in Australia called Designer X. Okay, I'll show you the website if it still works. Okay. So it's this website, and you're like, Ping, why are you showing us a clothing website? So what they do is basically, there's a website in America. I can't remember what it's called, that you can go in there, buy or rent people's clothing from their closet, but I don't know what the American one is called. But it's very similar to that. So you can rent these people's very expensive clothes, and you can rent it for a period of time. And I was doing some research during the week on it. Apparently, these women who rent out these clothes had been doing okay on here. And, they'd rent it out, they'd get it back, they'd send it to dry cleaning or whatever, and they'd get their money. Early last year, after the rental was completed, these women were not getting paid. They started not getting their money in their bank account for the rental. And apparently these people kept gaslighting them, saying things like, "Oh, here's an invoice. We definitely look. It says paid. I don't know why you didn't get the money." And apparently this has been going on for like 9 months, where these women who are trying to make a bit of money on the side, trying to make a sort of a hustle, a side hustle, pay for bills or whatever, and they're just not getting paid. And this company, the people behind it, have been spending mega amounts of money in the background, like buying houses and flashy cars and stuff like this. But they're people that actually make sure their business run. These people that put up their clothing have not been paid. Now, I reached out to a couple of these women who reckon that they haven't been paid, and I asked them to come on the show, but both of them said they weren't comfortable coming on, saying that they were worried about retribution for speaking publicly. And I was a little ashamed. I was a little upset about it because I was like, oh, that would have been an interesting story. So I tell you a little bit about it. This is in Australia. This is an Australian company. I'm just saying the one I was thinking about to tell the American viewers is an American one, but I couldn't think of the name. This is based in Australia. What was their name again? So it's Designer X. I'll put it in the chat. And there's a whole media article that they're trying to get more media attention for it to make sure these women get paid. Like, it's ridiculous. Hold on, let me grab that. Designer X. A lot of people. Here we go. So I hate using the Daily Mail, but it's one of the only ones that allow me to put it on the stream. They say Kristen and Costa fashion startup Designer X has been touted as a global success story, but Aussie customers are furious over the glamour couple's sneaky act. They say this celebrated startup owes many thousands of women money, and they're not paying it. They say they dubbed it the Airbnb of designer dresses. The website is a peer-to-peer sharing platform for high-end clothing. The people who own it, Kristen Kaur and her partner Costa, founded the company in 2016 as co-CEOs, having formerly worked together in real estate. But here's a photo of them here. So extraordinary scumbags, apparently, that don't pay the people that run their freaking site. So people are saying here, I started noticing about a year and a half ago, if you emailed them, you don't get a response. One day I sent them 15 emails. Miss Courtney has started hitting decline when a renter tries to hire a dress from her through that website because it's not worth it. She says, I don't know if I'm ever going to see the money. We're just giving out our services for free. The founders are living a life of luxury and they really couldn't care any less. I don't even think they keep track of it. They just hope you don't realize it is sneaky. Another lady, Nikki Hobson, she's 34, is also owed around $4,000 from bookings from the last year. She runs a Brisbane hire business and it's called N-Lend. They say the payments are incredibly delayed and it's very stressful. It means my cash flow is significantly capped and I'm not able to pay myself a salary. I'm not able to pay my bills and I'm not able to plan for the future. Ms. Hobson said she and her partner are constantly chasing the company by email and phone for their payments. In response, they're given technical excuses about why the money hasn't arrived yet. If you ask them a direct question, it's never actually responded to. It's speaking in circles, passing the buck. They're dealing with young women who aren't particularly business savvy, so they've probably gotten away with it for a really long time. These are mostly women that they're affecting who work extremely hard and deal with a lot of things day to day. As for the women who are hiring clothes on the site, Ms. Hobson said their money is not going where they think it's going. Ms. Hobson's stress has reached the point where she has recently had a breakdown over the phone with one of the owners of the website because the $4,000 that she is owed still hasn't been paid to her. Another lender, Ellie, a small business owner from Melbourne, said she is owed about $3,000 for November bookings that have not been paid. Ellie said Designer X has been claiming for years that it is processing payments manually while it introduces automation, but she believes it has a clear cash flow problem. Yeah, it's pretty easy. E-commerce has been around for almost 20 years. Any company that tells you that they can't pay you today is full of crap. We have same-day payments in Australia. So in Australia, I can pay you and you can have it now. If I press the send button, it'll be in your bank account in about 1 second. That was introduced about 5 years ago. Even before that, they had quick turnaround. So if you paid someone in the morning, they'd probably have it in the afternoon. But now we have instant payments between bank accounts. So these people saying that they can't pay their clients money, I agree. They have a clear cash flow problem, meaning that they don't have liquidity to pay off their clients. Basically, probably what they're doing is the money that comes in is not adequately covering the money that they owe, meaning that they're robbing Peter to pay Paul where they can. So they're paying these because one of the other ladies says she only gets $100 here. A month later, she'll get $100, but she's owed thousands of dollars. Whoever these two are that own this business, these two up here you go. What are their stupid names? Miss Core and Mr. Coolest. These two, close your site if you can't afford to pay the people who are giving you the dresses and stop leaning on bullshit excuses of why you can't pay them. You are literally stealing from people. You are taking from people because you're saying that if you give over your address, which is a service that you now need to pay for, and then they do that, so they hold up their end of the bargain. A lovely girl gets a dress for the weekend. They go to their event. The dress gets sent back, and then you don't pay the original client who sent the dress. You are now stealing from them. You are stealing service. So shut down your crappy website. Just fuck it off. Like, if you can't pay people, get rid of it. Like, it obviously means you got really crappy accounting, or it doesn't make any money. You can't afford to pay out the dividends on each transaction, and you're not making enough where you're able to overcome your debt ceiling. So these two, I hope you come out into the media and actually do something and stop hiding behind crappy statements, emails, saying that like, oh, it's a technical problem. You're the technical problem. It is not the banks. The banks are easy. You just type in the thing, press the button, away the money goes. You can even do it through PayPal. It's crazy. Carolina says, have you ever heard about the Zara Baker case? I have. Zara Baker was an Australian girl who lived in America. Yes, I do know about her. Right. Taz Devil says, yeah, these owners have a cash flow issue straight into their own dents. That's the thing. These people never will take money out of their own pocket to fix their own mistakes. They're still probably living a life of luxury, but they'll never dip into their own bank account to fix a problem of their own creating. And that's what they should do. They should do. If you are an honest person, you would make sure you cover your debts first and make sure that those people get paid, because they basically floated your business and your inception idea. It's not you. You just made a website. It's these ladies who came forward and allowed, like, money to be, dresses to be lended out on their behalf. They're the business, not you. You should take care of them. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it, Lisa. Thank you for the super stickers. It's very kind of you. It's very, very kind. Dollars making people funny. That's right. I got what you meant. Sounds like they're living off other people's money. Definitely. So the business doesn't make any money. That's obviously what's happening here. The way the business should work is, once you cover your expenses, once you cover your overhead, then you do a cash payout on a salary. If you can't make enough money where you can't afford to pay a salary to yourself, then as a CEO and business owner, you don't take a salary. You don't take a dividend because you're not making enough money. And if you're just forcing a salary through, you'll eventually bankrupt the company, because you're actually taking the money from the cash flow, and that means you'll never be able to fully catch up and pay off your debts. So it's ridiculous. It really is. These two, come out into public, make a statement, pay your people, hurry up. Stop making people wait months for payment. And if you can't pay it, foreclose, go down, like liquidate the business. Go into liquidation, get a liquidator in, and expose your records and let everyone see. Because obviously, you're not doing the right thing now. You owe thousands of women many different amounts of money, 4,000 here, 5,000 there. You add up, if you owe just 10 people $4,000, that's a $40,000 check that you need to write. That's a lot of money. So I hope these women get their money. I do. Thank you. I appreciate it for the gifted membership. It's very kind of you. Sorry, we don't normally do financial crimes, but I wanted to do this because I felt sorry for the women who tried to better their lives, tried to find a way to have a second hustle in life, and, try to earn a little bit of money outside of their job, and then get screwed over by these two. So I hope, what are their names again? Kristen Kaur and Costa Corliss. Oh, I hope we see a liquidation letter on Monday posted to ASIC. I hope that's what we see, because if you can't cover this debt, they are going to come for you. And now ASIC is aware of people being owed money and you have no cash flow. They are going to come for you. ASIC don't muck around. Ka-ching, that's right. Thank you very much. I appreciate Lisa for the gifted membership, and Kathy, and the 2 super chats. It's very kind of you. Very, very sweet. Sorry, we don't normally do financial crime. It's not something we normally do. But it's interesting nonetheless. Hey, let me just double check. I want to double check if there's any warnings out of the southern US. Doesn't look like we have any warnings right now out of tornado warning, Mississippi still. Yeah, hold on. USA. Tornado HQ. I don't see any right now. Tornado warning. Yeah, is that an old one? No. 11:26 Central Time. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Mount Herman, or 12 miles northeast of Franklinton, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. And that is in the LA/Mississippi region. Yeah, show me. Oh, it's down here on that line again. Interesting. I don't like their coloration for tornado warning. Yeah, I'd rather that be red or purple. Purple should be confirmed tornado. Yeah, got a couple of interesting things here. What is that? Tornado warning. Jeez. Tornado warning. Severe thunderstorm warning. So got a couple of tornado warnings up the line, actually. One right here. It must be this little box here. Littleville. So if you're near Littleville, I don't know what town this is. Littleville. I don't know. I'm not sure. But if you're over here, it's on the top of this line up here by the looks of it. I don't know what the closest town is to here. I don't know. This website needs some redesigning. But yeah, there you go. Up the top of that line. So there you go. That looks pretty severe. Still, it didn't die off like the future radar said it would. It still looks pretty good. And you are getting more of this kinking on the line. Do you see that? So this kinking here, this is where you get all those spin ups on the line. When you start getting like, it's almost like the one part of the line moves forward faster and this one gets held back. And then it starts to like wrap around or kink up a little bit. And that's where you get that rotation. So there you go. That's a huge thing. That's such a massive line of storms. It's really impressive. There you go. All right. No more weather. Hope you're okay out there. Yeah, thank you. Who got it? Savatha got it. Hey, Cheetah No More. How are you? Oh, and Carolina got it. That's very kind. John said, when I checked last time, it was probably a 4. Probably less wind still. Okay. Yes, I can. I don't know when we're going to do any more on Bill Gibson. I'll see. I know that I do want to do a more in-depth profile on her, and when I do Mr. Cruel or Bung, again, I will tell you. I will tell you and Sean about it. I'm glad I can pronounce her name properly now. Although, if you ask Ping, in my opinion, I don't know where the H comes from in her name when it's spelt like what is it, SAIRN or something. You probably tell me it's wrong, but there's no H in her name. No, she's very nice. I like your daughter. I will when I do it. I'll tell you. I don't know when I'm going to do it though. I don't know. I don't know. Soon, hopefully. I know we did a little bit on apple cider vinegar the other night. Have you watched it yet, Lisa? Oh, okay, I see it. Have you watched apple cider vinegar? There is a H in her name. Now I'm happy. I thought it was spelt the other way, the Irish way, with the smaller, like it's got less letters in it. Yeah, like this. Is that really? Yeah, like that. And I was like, there's no H in that name. I always get annoyed at names that don't sound how they look phonetically. Ashan. Okay, that's a good name. I like it. It has a H in it. Let's see. Love you more. Hey, my friend. That was a boring show, Mel Gibson. I don't think it's Mel Gibson. I don't think Mel Gibson did a wellness app. I think he's got other problems to deal with. You only watched one episode? I think it may be more interesting for the people who lived through it. So I lived through it down here in Melbourne, where she's from. Maybe it's a little more interesting to me. I sort of get that way with some true crime documentaries. I watch them out of the USA, and I'm watching them, and I'm like, why am I watching this? Like, this is the most boring crime in the world. It's like, they're like, a lady, she was 87, died in a house. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. They're like, her neighbor may have killed her. And I'm like, why did we have to make a documentary on this? Did it really need a documentary that's 2.5 hours long? Yeah, her neighbor killed her. Great. Like, I'm sure it's sad, but do we need to have a production company here? I will let you know when we do it. I don't know what we're doing coming up. We're at the moment we're in planning to go to freaking Morwell. So that's where most of my attention is planning for that. So between that and the health issues and a few other things, I don't even know why I do most of the shows each day. I will let you know. I promise, my friend. I promise. When we do more Australian base cases, I'll let you know. Hold on, I have to sit up, and this is going to be awkward. Hold on. All right. The Netflix documentary on Gabby Petito just came out. Did it? I'm normally up on my documentaries. I've probably watched more true crime documentaries than anyone else on earth. Let me check my list of. So I have a list that I check for docos every day. How did I miss that? That's a good doc. That's interesting. Someone just posted this documentary. One of my favorite documentaries is The Disappearance of Maura Murray. If you haven't watched that, you should watch that. It is so good. I still want to know what happened to Maura Murray. It's one of the enduring mysteries in true crime to me. Maura is I wish they knew. I wish they knew. I don't see it. What's it called? What's the Gabby Petito documentary called? Where my list doesn't contain it. That's interesting. Yeah, that maybe they haven't put it up yet. The place that I watch documentaries doesn't have it yet. Yeah, I'll show you Maura Murray in a second. Joni Gosh? I don't know Joni Gosh, but I can have a look. Madeline McCann. We can do Maddie McCann again if you want. It's on Netflix. All right, I'll have a look. Gabby Petito documentary. Oh, okay, I see. It's they have a series on Netflix called American Murder. So it's not a pure Gabby Petito documentary as such, like they did one called The Disappearance of Gabby Petito about 3 years ago. That was a different, I think that was CBS or something. This one's called American Murder, Gabby Petito. So that'll be interesting. I'll watch that after we get off here in a minute. Everything we know about. Yeah, okay. Let's have a look. What did I say? Watch the unsettling police body cam footage in American Murder Gabby Petito. Okay, I'll definitely watch this when we get off here tonight. Premieres February 17th. Okay, so it's not out yet. It's not out yet. It's out on the 17th, which is Monday. So it'll be out Monday. So I don't know if that is in America or everywhere, but normally Netflix releases on the same day worldwide. So it sounds like it won't be out until Monday. So that's okay. Give it a watch on Monday morning. So, okay, let's see. Yeah, I feel like Gabby was failed by a bunch of people, but you have to put the final bit of blame has to be on him, Brian. It's Brian that took her life. Brian Laundrie. It's him. He's the controlling douchebag, ugly mother effer who bagged a girl that was way hotter than he was and really was so desperate to keep a hold of her And when he felt the relationship was slipping away, he couldn't handle it because he knew he'd never get a girl as smart, intelligent, creative, but also very good looking ever again, because he's an ugly mother effer. He would never do that again. That was like a once in a lifetime thing. She was way too good for him. And he just saw the relationship slipping away by his own doing and insecurities, like a little boy. That's what it was like. It was like a 16-year-old dating for the first time. So insecure over their relationship that he was just a controlling asshole. And it pushed her away. That's what it did. It pushed her away. She got over it. She was sick of his crap. And the trip together really cemented that. And he killed her. He killed her. The only positive I give Brian is he had the balls to pull the trigger at the end, which a lot of the killers don't. A lot of them don't have that conviction. So I give him one tiny point on that, because we read so many where they're like, I had a gun, but I couldn't do it, and then they arrest them. And I'm like, well, if you're able to take the life of someone else, but you're not able to pull the trigger on yourself, what kind of pussy are you? Like, at least he did it, I guess. Chino Moore says he was literally a total creep and a controlling jerk. Yes, he was. She was way too good for him. Chino Moore says, what case is it where the horrible serial killers murdered hikers? That was Ivan Milat. That's Ivan Milat. Ivan Milat is dead now. He is a bully. That is true. Rachel said, I think he was also an entitled, spoiled brat. Yeah. Got what he wanted when he wanted. I don't know. I don't know how that works with a chin like that, but sure, I get it. Yeah, that's Ivan Milat. So there's Ivan Milat's a real psychopath. A real psychopath. He just, I don't know why he did what he did, but he abducted tourists and just killed them for fun. He was a weird guy. He was a weird serial killer. He was a guy who killed women, sometimes men, but mostly women. Mostly when his relationships with his own like sexual partners, women he was dating, would often go through a bad patch, or they would break up with him. Then he would go off and kill people. It was one of those weird ones that were tied to his own relationships with women. And when the relationships broke down, he lashed out at other women for what he perceived as wrongs to him from women that, you know, girls that didn't deserve it, but he took it out on them. Creepy like Ed Gein. Ed Gein was a little creepier. Ed Gein turned people's body parts into furniture and clothing, and he dried women's breasts and vaginas in his room. So I don't know what I mean. I think Ed Gein's on a completely different level. Ivan Milat's pretty. He's up there in the like the serial killer Hall of Fame. He's up there, but Ed Gein's sort of like level 1. He's right up there. Ed Gein's a real. That's who they base the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies on. They based it on Ed Gein. I've heard it all now. That is true. Research it. There are photos of what Ed Gein did to the bodies. If you Google it, you'll find it. You'll see the dried bits and pieces. Yeah, Ed Gein was. Yeah, he's the worst of the worst. Like, he started off by robbing graves. He started off by robbing cemeteries for bodies, and then he progressed further after that didn't. He almost got caught, or he did get caught. I haven't looked it up in a while, but I know he either got caught or almost got caught robbing graves, and then he decided to find other victims. He is a real nut. He's a real, like, yeah. Yeah, I'll watch this when it comes out. So what do people want to see? They wanted to see Maura Murray. Hold on. Maura Murray was one of the cases when I first got back into true crime as an adult, was one of the big mysteries that I was so wrapped up in when it first happened. she went missing in 2003, and it's so confusing what happened to her. That's Maura there. But there's a bunch of documentaries, including there's a really good one called, where is it? There's a good one called The Disappearance of Maura Murray, and it's a 6-part documentary. Some of it's stupid, like it's some detective going, like he's fleshing out theories of what might have happened to her. I sort of understand it's TV, you got to make it interesting, but it's a little stupid at the same time. But it is a good documentary. It is one of the good ones on her. Let me see if I can find anything that I can play quickly for you. Yes. Actually, 2 weeks ago, it was the 20th anniversary. Wow. I can't believe that. 20 years and we still don't know what. Yeah, I'll play the video for you.
Investigates on the search for Maura Murray. 20 years ago, this week, the college student from Massachusetts crashed her car on Route 112 in Haverhill, never to be seen again.
This afternoon, authorities releasing this new age progression photo of what Maura might look like today. The mystery surrounding her disappearance continues to be an obsession for cyber sleuths and podcasters.
But as News 9 Investigates Amy Cavino shows us, for the Murray family, not knowing what happened to Maura is a decades-long source of heartbreak and of frustration.
If anybody saw her, call us, you know.
Maura's father, Fred Murray, in 2004. The tree and the blue ribbon are gone, but the sharp bend on Route 112 is unchanged. It's here Maura crashed her 1996 Saturn. 7:27 is the first call to police by a woman.
She said she was shaken up. I couldn't see any blood on her face, and she was shaking like this. I says, okay, I'm going to go call the police.
School bus driver Butch Atwood died in 2009.
There are people out there that they have no training, no background, no experience doing this type of investigation, and yet they think they do, and they bother people, they trespass on property.
Lewis Black is now working with the Murray family, bringing fresh eyes to the case and decades of investigative experience, both as a police chief and now as a private investigator. The intense public interest is complicated for the family and for investigators.
That's what
I don't agree when you get these older investigators that come out and they say, "Oh, I really hate those YouTubers and those TikTokers. They come out here and they make a mess and they annoy people." Bro, that's what you're doing. Like, why is it okay for you and not okay for anyone else? Stop gatekeeping, investigative journalism or just investigations in general. Stop being a gatekeeper. Like, there have been online forums, YouTube people, TikTok people that have solved cases that police have not been able to. Don't be a gatekeeper. That's exactly what you sound like on that stupid interview. Hold on, I just want to answer this question here. There's someone here. Hey, Tazdel. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before, but thank you for being here. Do you think others in Ivan's family knew, assisted? I don't know if they assisted, but I think it's hard to not know someone like Ivan when they lived so close together on their family compound and there were items that were given to other people in the family that belonged to the backpackers. I think they're very, they're very internal. Like they keep everything in their little family. And I definitely think there's people that knew more about what Ivan was doing. Whether they assisted him, I don't know. But definitely, I think there were people that knew what he was like and they knew what he had done. That's what I'll say about that. Although his sister, is it his sister or his sister-in-law? She's La La Land. Like, she believes Ivan's innocent. And she still today thinks Ivan didn't do anything. She still went to court. She still, protected him and advocated for him. Like, she's La La Land. Let's see. Yeah, I'll play the rest of this video.
fuels us is the love and support that we've received from so many people from all over the world.
Julie Murray is Maura's older sister by 2 years. She is her champion, navigating the rumor mill, media exposure, and pressing investigators to pursue leads. The family spokesperson launched a first-person podcast this week.
who better to tell her story than me and the people that knew and loved her?
The Murray family admits to frustration over the years with New Hampshire investigators, but says things have improved recently.
There are still regular tips being reported to the state police and attorney general hotlines. So it is a case that is getting regular attention, that's getting regular work on it.
Summer 2022, a large-scale search of the woods on both sides of Route 112 in Haverhill. 2021, another dead end. Bone fragments found at Loon Mountain determined not to be Maura. April 2019, a house close to the crash scene is searched. The concrete in the basement cracked open with jackhammers. Another dead end.
I can tell you that no evidence was found in connection with that case.
This one hurts because I thought we finally had it.
News 9 Investigates obtained the most recent court filing from last year. It includes analysis from collision experts and photos not seen before of the car. The report states it can't conclude if Maura was the only one in the vehicle. The analysis states the front end damage likely was not from a tree and can't determine what caused the windshield damage. The report concludes the crash happened at a low speed and Maura was likely not injured.
They haven't allowed even my family in recent years to view the car, which is now down at State Police headquarters in Concord.
A 9-page inventory of items inside the locked black Saturn gives a snapshot of Maura's life at the time. College textbooks, a U2 cassette tape, sweatpants, shampoo, a travel toothbrush, a box of wine that a receipt shows she purchased the afternoon of her disappearance. Photographs in 2023 court documents highlight the wine and stains on the roof inside the car that an analyst notes is not blood. Julie says a rusty knife found on a property a mile from the crash was given to her father, and cadaver dogs hit on that same property. It's the only tangible evidence the family has ever received.
That it just gives me pause. I'd put it that way. I don't really know what to make of it. I don't know what law enforcement knows. I don't know what I don't know. But that has always been something that I've flagged in my mind.
So it's like they've tried everything, including that new crash analysis on her vehicle. I know there's people that thought that bus driver did it, the one who died. Like the police said, they thought they had it. They thought they knew where she was buried in that basement, and it turned out to not be there. So who knows what happened to Maura? Yes, I think the original one was a Netflix documentary. I don't know if it's still on there, but if you do a little bit of Googling, it'll pop up. It's been around for a while. Yeah, I'll grab you the title so you can search the exact phrase for it. It is a pretty good documentary, although it doesn't have that information about the new crash investigation. It doesn't have that. That only happened recently. So 20 years for her. That sucks. Oh, the 20th anniversary must have been last Feb, but because we're in 2025 now. Maura Murray disappeared 9th of Feb 2004. It's so sad that no one in all the years since has ever found anything of her. No remains, no clothing, no anything. In 20 years? It's one of those weird mysteries. Joanna said, that one breaks my heart as well as Seth Rogers. Seth Rogers? That's the dad. His name is Sebastian Rogers. Yeah, it's almost a year. Are we up to a year yet for Sebastian? It has to be, right? 2020. Did he go missing 21st of Feb 2024? Is that right? My memory is a bit... Sebastian Rogers last. Oh, no. Feb 25, 2024. 21st of Feb is the other little boy who went missing in Wisconsin, I think. Those cases happened very close together. Yeah, so Ping personally believes the last time that Sebastian was alive was possibly, confirmed to be alive, was the day before. I think my personal opinion is on Sebastian is that if you can't get a proof of life on the day he was reported missing, then you have to go backwards. You have to go back. You can't estimate that that day is like, oh, the day he went missing or whatever. Go back, just like the other cases that we dealt with last year, where they figured out the timeline was bullshit. They went backwards, and then they figured it all out. I believe the same thing has to happen with Sebastian. I don't think you can rely on the people telling you the information, if that makes sense. Yeah, I believe that you have to go back to the day before. It's not on. You can just Google it. There are some video sites out there that have things that are no longer on Netflix. Or email me and I'll show you where to watch it. Email me sundaywithping@gmail.com or on Facebook at Nights with Ping or Twitter at Nights with Ping. And I'll show you where to watch it. What's Cheating and More talking about? Susan Morphew? Was there an update in that today? No. That was Susan Simpson. Hold on, Susan. There was a small update today on Susan Simpson. Her husband was in court. Let me grab that for you if I can. Okay, apparently we're not going to get that. Great. Yeah. Sorry, I hate using Daily Mail, but for some reason they are always the first one to pop up. They say husband of missing realtor Susan Simpson appears in court as defense attempts to pull apart evidence in murder case. They say attorneys representing a Texas property tycoon accused of murdering his realtor wife are trying to pull apart the case. Are trying to pull apart the state's case against him as her body remains missing. They say Brad Simpson, 54, was arrested 3 days after his wife, Susan Simpson, 51, was spotted late at night outside her $1.5 million home in San Antonio's ritzy Olmos Park neighborhood, getting into an altercation with him. He has since been indicted on first-degree felony murder and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, causing serious bodily injury charges which carry a maximum sentence of life in prison. Simpson is also facing charges of tampering with a corpse, and as well as 2 counts of tampering with physical evidence and possession of a prohibited weapon. Authorities have said they believe he killed Simpson on the night of October 6th and then disposed of her body. They also found a saw, a reciprocating saw, that had his wife's DNA on it. So they believe he may have even cut her up with that saw and then dumped her body. It is really gruesome. Here he is. He looks like he's put on weight since he's been in prison. That prison food must be really fattening. I don't remember him being like that large of a man when he got arrested. What are they saying? At least the day before with Susan. Yep. Carolina says, in my opinion, someone knows something about Maura, Sebastian, Kyron Horman. People don't disappear into thin air. Definitely with Maura, Sebastian, 100%. There are people not telling the truth. Ping doesn't talk about Sebastian anymore, but I do agree with you. Let me go back to my article. This will be the last one for tonight, and we're going to get out of here. It's pretty late. Actually, yeah, it's 5:07. If I can get back to my article, because apparently I can't find it in all the billions of links I have open. Oh, it's here. Okay. So there he is with his wife, beautiful wife at the time, and he is accused of murdering her and possibly cutting up her body. They're saying a judge at the moment in the case has delayed a hearing until the next month. So apparently they're giving them more time to work this case. That's the defense, not the prosecution. And hopefully they find her. If they could find her remains, that would be good. Yeah, this is interesting. When detectives later questioned him about his wife's disappearance, authorities said Brad appeared unconcerned about his wife being missing and showed little to no emotion. It added that he had several scratches and lacerations on his hands and arms. So while he was strangling her, she was trying to fight back, and those are defensive wounds, probably like not defensive, but from her being defensive, and she's probably scratching at him while he's trying to hold her down or strangle her, and she's trying to get him off and get the hands from around her neck to come release the pressure, and she's probably scratching at him, trying everything in her power, and that's where those wounds probably came from. It's a very sad case, and they still have not located her. So now they've delayed more hearings in this. Yeah. On Wednesday, Simpson's defense attorneys filed a motion to dismiss the indictment against him. When they appeared in court with Simpson later that day, the defense attorney said they still needed about 1 terabyte of evidence to go through before they could move forward with their motion to quash the indictment. Prosecutors then said they were still waiting to receive about 5 to 6 terabytes of evidence from Texas Rangers, and admitted they were having trouble transferring some of the data to the defense. They're not going to get their quash. Not a chance. They would need to show that there's some sort of legal technicality to get a quash here, or prove that the evidence is so overwhelmingly deficient that they can't go to trial. That's what they'd have to prove to the judge, and I don't think you're going to be able to do it when you're waiting on 6 terabytes of evidence. So, all right. Maybe cheated no more. Carolina says, I remember this case also, this one out of San Antonio. Yep, we did a lot on it last year. Nikki said, I wish they would find the body of Samantha Murphy from Ballarat. Me too. I want her found so badly. Just so her husband and her children can finally lay her to rest. It would be very helpful for the town of Ballarat if that happened, so they can all come out. There can be a giant outpouring of grief and emotion for everyone, and sort of put her to rest. That would be good. Yeah, a lot of cases. All right, what time? It's like 10 past 5 down here. We've been on for almost 3 hours. 2 hours 45 minutes, something like that. Not quite. We're a little shy of 3 hours. Naziah Harris's body hasn't been found either. Nope. All right. I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you all for coming here on this Saturday night. And we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow for Sunday Nights with Ping at 10:30 Eastern. 10:30 Eastern if you're in Australia. That is 2:30 in the afternoon, 2:30 p.m. So I will see you then. I love you all very much. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, you want to see more content like this, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you tomorrow at 10:30. Love you all. Have a great Sunday out there. Bye. See you later. So we got to go. Got to get to the chopper. All right. Bye.